Not great weather right now, but we are going to start this game. Kind of a steady drizzle. And, the other thing to watch, I guess, besides the rain, Tom, is the fact that there's a lefty on the mound for KC. That's not gone well.
No, it really hasn't. It's been a trend that's lasted about the last week or 10 days. The last 5 times that the Rangers have faced left-handed pitching, they've lost. Kotz, Burley, Anderson, May, and Santana, they haven't just lost. They've only gotten 3 earned runs in those games. It'll be interesting today because they'll face Darrell May for the second time in 5 days. Last time it was a 9-inning shutout. They'll also face Santana when their team goes to Minnesota. So we'll see how they do the second time around, but he was really tough in Kansas City.
Yeah, Darrell May's first ever complete game, 9-inning shutout, and hopefully the Rangers can have at him this afternoon. Hopefully the rain starts to move away. With September being here now, their reinforcements are here now, a couple of them. You may see today, up in the minor leagues, Ryan Christensen right in the lineup. Maybe he'll be the spark to get the Rangers a win against the lefty. We'll find out coming up next. Texas Ranger Baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By Gatorade, is it in you? By Pennzoil, not just oil, Pennzoil. And by Southwest Airlines, more than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country. A very gloomy Labor Day afternoon. We flip the page to September, and we are met with steady drizzle here at the ballpark in Arlington, but the Rangers want to get this game in. The Royals want to get this game in. The umpires want to get this game in. By golly, Tom Grieve and I want to see this game get in. So here are the Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the KC Royals. You've got Guile, Randa, and Sweeney setting up the Ranger killer Carlos Beltran. Tony Pena then goes with Raul Ibanez, Ken Harvey, Desi Relaford, Angel Baroa, and Brent Main, which rhymes with rain. And Colby Lewis is pitching in it this afternoon. Colby trying to come back after his poorest effort as a Ranger starting pitcher, Tom. Colby did not get out of the second inning in a 9-0 loss.
No, he didn't. He walked the first 2 hitters of the ball game, and both of them came around to score. He ended up 4 in the first, 4 in the second, and ended up with a loss in that game, his 9th of the season. In his last 2 starts, he's walked 7 batters in 7 innings. Prior to that, it had only been 6 walks in 5 starts. So he's back on track, a little bit back where he was before he was sent to the minor leagues as far as his control goes, and that'll be a key for him today, I think. Getting off to a good start, challenging the hitters, throwing strikes right off the bat here in the first inning. It's not going to be easy for him, Josh, in this drizzle. They're going to have to tend to the mound quite a bit. Defensively, Ryan Christensen back with the Rangers in center field. Spencer and Thames left and right. Alex Rodriguez back at shortstop after a big night as the designated hitter. Michael Young at second. Blaylock and Teixeira at third and first. Colby Lewis on the mound, and Todd Green gets the start behind the plate.
Green, one of the few Rangers that's got good numbers against the Royals starter, Darrell May. And we are underway. Temperature in the 70s, a steady rain. There was supposed to be a big crowd here for Labor Day, but obviously the weather has dimmed that. Which means we've got a larger TV audience today, so welcome everybody. Rangers in the middle of a homestand. They just got done with the Twins. What a ball game that was. In the rain yesterday, the Rangers winning it in the bottom of the 9th in dramatic walk-off fashion.
You know, the ironic thing, Josh, when we left in the 9th inning, the weather was exactly like it is right now when we start this game. Right about where it was when Einar Diaz was at bat. It started to rain a little harder right after Einar won the ball game. But while he was at bat, this is just about what the weather was doing. And generally, you won't see a game start in this kind of weather. Evidently, the Rangers have some kind of a report that it's not going to get any worse.
Yeah, it might not get any better, but it might indeed not get any worse. And because the Royals already got rained out yesterday, I mean, their schedule's already a mess.
Yeah, it is.
They've got a makeup game as it is against Randy Johnson in the Arizona Diamondbacks this Thursday. And that game that they had to rain out against the Angels yesterday, the second half of a doubleheader, nobody knows when they can make that one up. The only common off day shared by the Royals and the Angels is that game where the Diamondbacks are coming in September the 4th. So unless they want to do a day-night doubleheader with 2 different teams, which I don't think is going to happen, you're talking about making that game up the day after the season officially ends.
Yeah, for a team in a pennant race, boy, you don't want to get double headers backed up in the last month of the season. Well, the only good thing about that is at least the rosters are expanded and you'll have more players, but generally those aren't the players that you want to have determine a pennant race for you. So on the other hand, there's nothing you can do about it, and I'm sure that's what Tony Pena is saying to his players. Hey, look, this is the card, this is the hand we're dealt. We're going to play him. We haven't let anything get in our way all season long. We're not going to let the weather get in our way now.
The Jack in the Box standings. Look at the AL Central and how tight it continues to be. Randa deep short for A-Rod. 2 down here in the first inning. And as you look at that schedule, the Royals maybe have the clearest path here, Tom. Their remaining games are mostly against, well, the Rangers in this series, the Indians, and the Tigers. Now they are 10-1 against the Tigers. They are 10-3 against the Indians. They are 6-0 against the Rangers. So a lot of the teams they have left on their schedule, they've done very well against. And as Mike Sweeney takes ball 1, you know, you and I off the air, Tom, we're trying to figure out a way to explain the Royals' dominance over the Rangers this year. It's tough to come up with something concrete. It has been a shade beyond dominance. The Royals have outscored Texas 53-14. And at no point in the 6 games played have the Rangers had a lead against Kansas City. This is a great start for Colby Lewis, though. On what is now a muddy track in the infield, Alex Rodriguez gets the ground ball across to Teixeira. And the Rangers are coming up. There's no score. Romero slashed a home run yesterday. You've got Spencer in left, Teixeira at first. Blaylock dropped to 7th against a lefty. Thames and Green the rest of the way. And Darrell May, news bulletin, strike 1. He was doing nothing but that against the Rangers 5 days ago. May ended up with a complete game, 5-hit shutout, in which, Tom, he got 17 fly ball outs.
Yeah, he really pitched a terrific ball game. That's the best start of his career, obviously. But he's been pitching well. Maybe not that well, but in his last 13 starts, he's 8-2 with a 2.98 ERA. He's trying to win his 4th straight start. So coming down the stretch, he has been a guy that you could call their ace, a guy they go to and expect to win when he takes the mound.
Yeah, he was their number 5 starter coming out of spring training. He has ascended to ace position as they head down the stretch. Hot shot past May, picked at second base by Relaford, 1 down.
Defense for Kansas City, pretty much the same defense that the Rangers saw in Kansas City. Ibanez in left, Beltran in center, Guile in right, Baroa at shortstop. He has made a lot of errors, but not many recently. He's played excellent shortstop the last 40 or 50 games. Randon Harvey third and first, Relaford at second, and Brent Maine behind the plate.
Yeah, Baroa just 1 error in his last 66 games, as it turns out.
He made some early, but he's not making them now. Rondell White has a slight injury, leg injury, is why he's not playing left field. Gives Harvey the start at first and pushes Ibanez from first back out to left field, where he spent most of the time this year anyway.
We bid a hearty welcome back to Ryan Christensen. We last saw him in June. He was then dispatched down to AAA. Played through a leg injury. Though he hit 190 up here at AAA this year, Tom, 313.
Ryan's a solid player. He's the guy, he's an A guy you put out in center field, and you know he will not make any mistakes out there. Very fundamentally sound in the way he plays the game.
We got a carbon copy here in the bottom of the first. When you lay it against the top of the first, a 4-3 bounce out, a 6-3 bounce out. And if it continues as such, Alex Rodriguez will hit a smash to short.
It's one of those days where you'll go out and give it your best shot, and you'll try to block out the rain, but it doesn't feel comfortable. It's a little bit muddy at the plate. Your cleats don't dig into the dirt quite the same way. For a pitcher, they start to cake up on the bottom of your shoe. That's what you see behind the pitcher's rubber. There's a little area where they've got a mechanism that you can rub your shoes on it to try to get the dirt off it. They'll probably come out several times during the game to put the turfist down on the mound so there's no real slippery spots. You can see the little pad behind the mound where the pitcher can go rub the dirt off. But in spite of all the precautions and all the extra things you add, it's still not a very comfortable way to play a ball game. There it is. And there he is, getting the mud off his shoes. And this is, you know, it's not a hard rain, but it's steady. And over time, it will take its toll on the field. There's no doubt about that.
It's an annoying rain. How's that?
Yeah, it's very annoying.
And you see Alex, after every pitch, will step out, try to clean that bat off. He will take a walk, which is fine. A-Rod 1 out of 15 lifetime against Errol May. And you go back to yesterday, Tom, when Alex DH'd for the first time in 2 years. A-Rod was on base all 5 times he came up yesterday. He follows that with a leadoff walk today, and he brings up Rafael Palmeiro.
He raised his on-base percentage to almost 40%. It's .399. That might do it right there, the walk, get it up to 40%. 8th in the league in on-base percentage. So add that to one of the many offensive categories that he's moving toward the top in.
Rafael Palmeiro blasted a home run in the first inning yesterday. 32nd of the year. 522nd of his Hall of Fame career. And Rafi hit number 500. The bat that he used to do that ended up in Cooperstown. They've got that in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame just put out a little news release about all the cool things that they have added to the Hall of Fame this year. It's about 15 of them. Rafi's bat is on that list. Let's see, they've got stuff like a cap worn by Brad Lidge and a baseball signed by the 6 Astros pitchers when they had that 6-man no-hitter. 2 bats from Bill Miller when he hit those home runs here at the ballpark in Arlington. The first guy to hit grand slams from both sides of the plate in the same game. Baseball from Greg Maddux when he got his 15th win again. Rafael Palmeiro didn't like that. Darrell May strikes him out. The Rangers strand the runner. Will play the second in rainy Arlington. There's no score. Not quite the barbecue and weather that I think everybody was looking forward to on Labor Day. Very steady drizzle here in North Texas. You look at the radar, it's just a giant green blotch across the entire northern half of the state. And the Rangers and Royals play in this weather proceeding to the second inning. Weather that comparatively, Tom, has to look like sunny San Diego as far as Kansas City is concerned. We mentioned they only got one of their 2 games in yesterday against the Angels, a scheduled doubleheader. And they say that over a 24-hour period at that ballpark in Kansas City, they got 7.9 inches of rain in 24 hours. They feel fortunate they got the 1 game in yesterday. Beltran takes a strike. And you love to see Colby Lewis working quickly, throwing those first pitch strikes. Tom, you mentioned in Kansas City, Colby had a 32-pitch first inning in which he gave up 4 runs. Needed only 13 pitches in this first inning against the same team 5 days later. And if he can find a way to get Carlos Beltran, we know he's on his game. Very few Ranger pitchers have figured out how to solve Carlos Beltran. He's 14 out of 26 against Texas this year. Make it 14 out of 27.
Between innings, the ground crew came out to tend to the mound and home plate. They'll probably have to do that after every inning, maybe every half an inning, put the turfus on the mound and home plate.
One down, we go to Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you, Josh. You know, I talked to Colby Lewis before the game, and as you talked about, he did have a rough outing against KC last week, giving up 7 runs, didn't even the last 2 innings. I asked, what is he going to take out of last week's tough loss to KC?
You kind of just have to blow that last one off a little bit and go back after it, and just keep the approach that I've had. You know, the last I don't know what's it been, about last month since I've been up, and you know, because I feel like I've been throwing the ball well since I've been up, and I just want to keep that rhythm.
So that's what he's taken out of it. Absolutely nothing. He wants to forget about it. And why not? He's doing a fine job right now. He says he just wants to stay aggressive. So far, so good. Kobe's back to his aggressive self. It looks good early, Josh.
It does, and it's nice to see him working expediently as well. We saw R.A. Dickey kind of slow down the pace yesterday when things were rocky.
The one thing that Colby Lewis took out of the last game was a higher ERA. That's about it. I mean, when that game's over and you're the pitcher, you know exactly what happened. You didn't throw enough strikes, and all you do is want to forget that game. And good thing about baseball, if you're a pitcher, every 5 days, starting pitcher, you get to go back out there. If you're a regular player, it's the next day. If you're a bullpen guy, it might be the next day. So you want to put a bad day like that behind you. Whether there was something mechanical or not, who knows? That's something that Colby would work between starts with the pitching coaches. So far, so good. 5 up, 5 ground balls to the infield. And if you're a pitcher for the Rangers, that's what you want. Ground balls to the infield, because every one of them is an accomplished fielder, and that's the best way to get outs. A little slippery as Ibanez tries to get out of the box, and this is only the second inning.
Yeah, there are going to be no ground balls shooting through this muddy infield today. We saw that when Mike Young pegged one that died in order for Relaford to get to it.
I guess it probably evens out, Josh. The ball won't get through as quickly, but the fielders won't be able to get to it as quickly. When it goes faster through the infield when it's dry, the fielders can move around a little bit better.
But I'm with you. I'll take my chances with Blaylock, A-Rod, Young, and Teixeira. Their range factor collectively is outstanding.
Yep. And if you're a pitcher and keep the ball down, make it sink a little bit and get ground balls, you're going to get a lot of outs with this team.
There's another one. We'll test our theory. A-Rod cutting in front of Young. 6 ground ball outs for Colby Lewis. He was down 8-0 at this point last time he faced the Royals. 0-0 sounds a lot better. Folks, we invite you to stay tuned for today's Dodge Grab Life by the Horns feature. We'll be talking with Mark Teixeira. Now a 20 home run hitter is Mark Teixeira. James Spencer driving one down towards the right field stands. He's down 0-1 in the count in a scoreless game in the second inning. Rangers trying to find a way to knock off this Kansas City team. They have not done that this year. In fact, the Royals have won 9 straight going back to last year.
And you look at the numbers for this year, Josh, the Rangers are giving up an opponent's average to Kansas City of 346. Kansas City scored almost 9 runs a game in the 6 games, and their pitchers have held the Rangers to an earned run average of 209.
When you look at Buck Showalter and Tony Pena in opposing dugouts, you remind yourself that Buck Showalter was the other candidate for the job in Kansas City last year. The Rangers were thrilled that Buck was still available, as it turned out. The Royals playing their home games at that Harry S. Truman complex. That would have been a headline writer's dream. Buck stops here in Kansas City, but it did not happen. In the air, right field. Aaron Guile makes the play.
The Rangers against the Royals this year have scored as many as 3 runs in a game only once in 6 games. The Royals have held the Rangers under 3 runs 5 out of 6 times.
9-0 last time Colby Lewis faced Darrell May. Again, that was just 5 days ago. Well, that looks nice, doesn't it? 20 home runs now for Tex. He was thrilled to hear the stat about the rookies with 20 or more home runs, rookie switch hitters. He is one of only 6. Launching this one foul. Bank of America higher standards. It was kind of a mixed bag for Tex yesterday. Remember, he got doubled off as he forgot how many outs there were, but then he redeemed himself as he just destroyed that pitch for his 20th home run of the year. And back live, he's destroyed another one. This ball heading out to left field. Rangers have the lead.
Almost as far as the one he hit yesterday. They both went over the seats behind the scoreboard. The one yesterday went all the way to the right and was probably a little bit farther. But this was a big-time home run swing. A little bit of an uppercut swing. Let it all out. Got all of it. Hit it above the seats. Stays hot.
Blaylock stays hot. Two pitches. 2 home runs.
Giving you enough time to get your home run call in.
Hey, slow down, fellas.
Get warmed up for this one.
I'm going to go in back and gargle. Marcus Thames approaches the plate now.
Well, the ironic thing about it is Hank's last 2 home runs have been shots to right field, both off left-handed pitching. Hank down in the lineup to 7th, and he takes advantage of the opportunity of a guy that just shut the Rangers out 5 days ago.
Getting 17 fly ball outs, as we mentioned, along the way. Thank you for taking a pitch, Marcus. 0-1. Couple of fly balls that shoot on out of here, though, today. Rangers 2, Royals nothing.
Yeah, those 2 balls would have shot out of Kansas City that night. He was giving up all the fly ball outs.
No, we talked to Tex before the game, and he said, I can't hit one further than I hit that one yesterday. I think he's wrong. That one went just as far.
They were very similar. Similar swing, similar pitch, and similar distance.
And then Hank Blaylock on consecutive pitches. So the same guy who shut the Rangers out 5 days ago gives up back-to-back cannon shots to the 2 kids, Teixeira and Blaylock. And the Rangers continue to pile up the home run numbers. They lead the majors in that department. They blasted 5 yesterday. They've got 2 in the 2nd inning this afternoon.
The other thing that's occurring right now is the rain. It's still a steady drizzle, but it's lighter than it was 15 minutes ago. Hopefully it's headed toward not raining at all, but it's not quite as bad as it was.
Marcus Thames will not get this one out. Well, that would have been really cool. A fly ball to left field, 2 out in the inning. You know, you touched on it with Blaylock. Mark Teixeira hits number 21 and Blaylock hits number 25 in this inning. Hank had hit only 1 home run off a lefty all season. And now in back-to-back games, he has homered off a lefty.
I think in Hank's season this year, Buck was determined when the season started to get Hank the best matchups that he felt he could get for him. And in the course of a season, there's a lot of reasons for that. I think Buck wants him to have as much success as he can have. It's another way to stay healthy and strong all season long. But I think as you look down the road, nobody suspects that hitting left-handers is going to be any problem for Hank Blaylock. He's a good hitter with a great swing, and I'm sure Buck has him penciled in every day next year, and he's going to start playing him more and more against left-handers the last month of the season. That was the plan at the beginning, and Buck has had patience all season long, and he's stuck with this plan. And you can't look at Hank's season and say that it hasn't been successful, so it must have been a good plan to begin with. But if you ask Buck, do you think there's going to be any problem with Hank Blaylock hitting left-handed pitching, the first thing he'll say is absolutely not.
Blaylock, a 422-foot home run. Teixeira's, we're told, went 409. 2 pitches, 831 feet worth of home run baseballs. for the first time, Tom, in the 57 innings the Rangers have played against the Royals this year, we can say the Rangers have the lead against the Royals. Big rip and Green is down on strikes. However, the 20-somethings went deep in the second inning. Teixeira and Blaylock both. It's 2-0. 2 solo home runs and a 2-0 Ranger lead. Folks, the Rangers take on the Royals again tomorrow and Wednesday. Wednesday night is Dollar Soft Drink night. Also, Ranger players and coaches will be signing autographs out in the concourse after batting practice, part of Dr. Pepper Autograph Wednesdays. For tickets, you can call right now, 817-273-5100. Time running out to come on out to the ballpark again. The Rangers entering the final month of the season. You've got the remainder of this homestand. And you've got a nice long homestand starting September 12th, and then that's it. Rangers finish the season on the road. Strike one to Desi Relaford, and we'll say it again, Tom. It's just a different Colby Lewis when he's humming in those first pitch strikes.
No doubt about it. And I guess that's something you would say about any pitcher. You're much better off when you're pitching aggressively and throwing a lot of strikes, getting ahead in the count. And sometimes that's easier said than done, especially with young pitchers. And there's the 7th straight ground ball.
7 up, 7 down on 7 ground balls to the shortstops and second basemans. And as we talk about that Ranger defense, the airtight infield defense, what a luxury that is. I mean, if you're a young struggling pitcher like Colby Lewis and you're thinking, all right, well, hey, here's something I can do. Just keep the ball down, kind of shin level, let him hit it hard, but somebody's going to go get it. We told the story last week about Eddie Stanky. He used to reward his pitchers with a new suit if they could get 20 ground ball outs in a game. We're going to have to go down there and measure Colby Lewis for his suit. One ball, one strike to count to Angel Baroa, Rookie of the Year candidate. 61 runs batted in. He's been hitting down in the order. That's a strike. He swung at one in the dirt. About 2 feet out in front of the plate.
Well, at least he broke the string of 7 straight ground balls.
Yeah, but there's another putout for Mark Teixeira at first base.
That's a good point. But Kobe got it with a curveball. That ball bounced 5 feet in front of home plate. The only thing you can think is maybe Barreau was trying to hit it on a bounce. But he was definitely... Kobe's thrown almost all fastballs. And so if you're a hitter, you're probably geared up to hit the fastball, to say the least. And that time, Kobe changed up on Barreau and throw him the overhand curveball that bounced way out in front of the plate, but he got him to swing at it anyway.
Right there to Brent Maine, 1-1. Maine was one of the few Royals here today before 11:30 a.m. Tony Pena told the guys just kind of wander on in from the hotel. That ball is not a ground ball. Hit pretty well in the right center. Christensen's got it. And how about Colby Lewis? After giving up 7 earnings against Kansas City last time, he's cruising 2-0. Texas Ranger Baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 non-stop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country. And by Nextel, now with a coast-to-coast walkie-talkie built right in. Now that's a walkie-talkie. Colby Lewis continues to be a big story in this game. He has coerced 7 ground ball outs. Mud ball outs, really, more tellingly today.
I've been watching between innings. Josh, the grounds crew, is doing a great job of keeping the field playable. They've been out between every inning making sure the mound is okay, and watching the pitchers, it looks like they're not having any problem. They've kept the batter's box as dry as they can. They've gone out to each position with the turfist that helps dry down the infield. So as bad as the conditions are, the playing conditions for the players are being kept as good as they possibly can by the grounds crew. They're doing a great job.
Ball and a strike, the count to Mike Young. He's had a hand in all the ground ball outs as he's gone and rescued 3 baseballs. Now on Baroa on the money track. Quick release. Got him by a step to stretch by Harvey.
I'll say that's a quick release. When you charge the ball like that and get rid of it that quickly, you don't have to throw it very hard to get it over there. You've kind of got your choice. Do you take the extra step and fire it, or do you get rid of it quickly? And on a wet field, this is a beautiful play. I mean, I don't think you can do it any quicker than that. Watch it from the glove to the hand and flip it. That's incredible.
And that's a groin injury waiting to happen to Ken Harvey at the other end. He did a nice job to stretch.
What a play. I mean, he didn't even bring his arm back. He got the ball from his glove to his hand, and the second it touched his hand, he was following through on his throw. Nice play.
Ryan Christensen up 2-0. He'll get some time in center field, as will Lance Nix the rest of the way. The Rangers have sent down Ramon Navarre all the way to AA, where Frisco is in the playoffs. Well, how'd you like to be Wichita, Frisco's first-round opponent, saying, "Wait a minute, now we got to face Ramon Navarre now."
Who's going to be here tomorrow? A-Rod and Michael Young up the middle. Well, I think what teams, organizations try to do is you can manipulate and maneuver the rosters, but you have to do it obviously in a way that's consistent with the bylaws of the league and Major League Baseball, and every team does it. Once your teams get into the playoffs, you want to give them every chance to win. You love your kids to get a ring at the end of the season, learn what it is to win and win a championship. And it's not like Navarre was a major leaguer being sent to the minor leagues. He spent most of his season in AA ball.
Yep, he just gets a return trip as Christensen goes back to the dugout. The Rangers made a bunch of moves that we should tell you about. As you look at Christensen swinging at strike 3. Navarre down, but a bunch of guys up, and there are more to come. Ryan Drees has rejoined the team. Reynaldo Garcia has rejoined the team, and obviously Christensen right in the lineup. We should see Rosman Garcia and Gerald Laird by tomorrow.
Last year in the Texas League playoffs, when the Rangers were in Tulsa, they were playing the Mariners AA team for the championship, and the Mariners sent Rafael Soriano down there for a start. He struck out like 12 guys in 7 innings and shut out the Tulsa Drillers. I don't know if it was the championship game. I think it was for the Texas League championship. So it's not like the Rangers are the only team that are trying to send some reinforcements down to their minor league teams. Every team is doing it, and I'm sure the teams that the Rangers are playing in the playoffs are doing it as well. So they're just taking advantage of the rules the way they exist in the minor leagues.
Alex swings, he rolls one to third base. Joe Randa up with it. Harvey didn't have to stretch this time. No runs, hits, or errors. Nobody left. We have quickly played 3 at the ballpark today. It's 2-0. Rangers up 2-0. That man in the middle is Bob Missick. And as long as we're talking about the Rangers minor league system, as we have been doing today, he's kind of a go-to guy on that subject. Bob Missick, a very talented baseball man. Used to be in the Orioles organization, Pirates organization. Now the Rangers coordinator of player development. Right under Grady Fuson on the flow chart. And he's been asked to come up and sit in on this series. Lewis gets a pop-up from Aaron Guile. Hank Blaylock has the range and the baseball. 1 down here in the 4th. I think it's appropriate that Bob Missick is here because, again, we talk about roster reinforcements. Bob Missick has been traveling around to Oklahoma City, to Frisco, to Stockton and Clinton and Spokane this entire summer. And he's got a real finger on the pulse of what's going on. And he can be kind of a welcoming sight to some of the young players coming up.
Thinks there's
A lot of frequent flyer miles for Bob Missick this year, bouncing from town to town.
What are you doing, Joe?
puck back.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. Check that, 2 balls, 1 strike to count to Joe Randa. You know, talking about the minor leagues and how good they've been for Colby Lewis too, Tom. 5-1 at AAA this year, and I would think a good for your ego ERA right at 3.0. When you look at Colby's year overall, that ball is smashed into center. Base hit, the first base runner allowed by Colby today. And by the way, a 14-game hitting streak for Randa now. As ugly as the stats have been up here for Colby, I think it helps that you can look at what he's done at AAA and say, you know what, the guy's got a shot to keep going here.
Yeah, and I think Colby's been in a good situation this year. He's had the opportunity to continue going out every 5 days, even though part of the time was in AAA. And it has to be a valuable learning experience, even a game like in Kansas City. And if you're a pitcher, you say exactly what Colby did. I didn't learn anything from it. I just want to put it behind me and go out the next time. But every time you pitch, you learn something, whether you realize it or not. And for Colby to get this many starts, this is his 22nd start at the big league level, is a positive thing, and he's going to be better for it. And the Rangers have been in a position where they've been able to do that with their young pitchers this year. And what Colby, I'm sure, wants to do is just finish strong. You'll have 4 or 5 more starts in September. You want to finish strong so that you go into spring training with a good feeling, and so the team has a good feeling about you, that you got a chance to pitch well in spring training and make the ball club.
Hard hit, A-Rod flips to Michael Young across the back to Teixeira. A gorgeous double play. Alex Rodriguez and Michael Young, some more fielding magic at the ballpark in Arlington. It stays 2-0. Texas Ranger Baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas, and by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Boy, after a 3-hour, 54-minute marathon yesterday, the Rangers and the Royals breezing right along in the rain at the ballpark in Arlington today. Rafael Palmeiro offers it a changeup and is behind 0-1.
And with each passing inning, the rain quiets down a little bit, just barely raining now.
0-2 the count to Palmeiro. Took a called third strike in a very rainy first inning. You're right, just kind of a light drizzly fourth. Big game for Kansas City. The White Sox have the day off. Wondering which game they're watching on the satellite currently. Hi guys, if you're watching this one, 2-0 Rangers here. Minnesota is trailing Anaheim 5-0. That game is in the third, so the White Sox, just by sitting on their couch today, could pick up a half a game in the standings 2 ways.
And we're talking about the schedule and how it appears to favor Kansas City. The one thing that doesn't favor Kansas City.
This ball dunked towards left field on the run. Nice job by Ibanez to go get it. Sorry, Tag.
That's okay.
Hold that thought. Got to get you to the Aflac Insurance trivia question. As the Rangers look to win their first against the Royals this year. Last time the Rangers beat Kansas City, June of last year. Who was the winning pitcher? And extra credit, who got the save? Now back to Tom Grieve.
Well, I was going to say they have to play Chicago, which I guess is good in a way. At least you determine your own destiny. 7 out of the last 10 games, including the last 4 games of the season. They play the last 4 games of the season at home, which I'm sure they feel good about. But at the same time, you got a chance to face Loaiza, Cologne, Burley, and now John Garland's throwing pretty well too as the 4th starter. So even though the rest of the schedule may look pretty easy, you face the White Sox 7 out of 10 games.
Right.
That part's not easy.
They're going to have to win those games against, let's face it, the Rangers for one, but especially the Indians and the Tigers. So they give themselves enough leeway to lose a couple of those games against Chicago.
You'd like to go into that last 10 days with a couple of games in front, or maybe even more. I don't know exactly what Kansas City's record is against Chicago this year, but I know it's not good. They've not matched up well against the White Sox.
You're right. The White Sox have played better and better baseball as they've gone along this year. The Royals are 5-7, by the way, against Chicago. They're done with Minnesota. But yeah, 20-5 overall against Cleveland and Detroit, and they've got a bunch of games left against those guys.
Now, one thing about the American League West, there's only 4 teams in the West, and so when you get to September, you're pretty much playing within your division the other 3 teams.
Spencer takes a look at a called third strike, 2 down.
As it works out in the Central with 5 teams, Kansas City is already finished with Minnesota, and one of their main competitors they won't be seeing in September. But there's not much else you can do when you've got 5 teams in one division and 2 divisions and 4 in the other.
Mark Teixeira, one of the home run hitters for the Rangers in this game. Darrell May serving up back-to-back home run balls to Teixeira and Blaylock, 2 pitches. Otherwise, he's got a no-hitter working right now.
And Josh, talking about the Central Division, the Central Division winner will have the least amount of wins probably of any playoff team in the American League. But if the White Sox do make the playoffs by winning the Central, whether it's the Yankees, the Red Sox, Oakland, whoever the other teams are, Seattle, 3 of those 4 teams, they are not going to look forward to playing the White Sox.
No.
With Burley, Loaiza, and Colon as their top 3 starters and John Garland as the 4th guy. They in a short series could be favored maybe even against teams with a much better record in the regular season. They're a different team right now than they were halfway through the season. They've added, of course, Carl Everett. They've added Robbie Alomar.
The White Sox could well face the Yankees, and they just went into Yankee Stadium, beat them 2 out of 3.
That's right.
Speaking of the Yankees and getting you back to Mark Teixeira, Tom, I looked up last time somebody had as many as 22 putouts in a game at first base. Don Mattingly, 1987. And that's the record that Tex is shooting for in this game. Remember, the first 8 outs today all involved Mark Teixeira in some way, so he was on a pace for, well, maybe not 27, but 24 at least, if the Rangers don't have to bat in the bottom of the 9th. The all-time record, most putouts by a first baseman in one game, 22. Tommy John, I looked it up, was on the mound, apparently getting oodles of ground balls in that game.
Must have had that sinker working that day.
Colby Lewis, though, is starting to strike guys out, starting to get some pop outs, so Texas is going to have to rally to get a share of that today. Mark Teixeira looking to do it again, fair or foul, off the pole, home run! What a run he's on. 3 home runs in his last 4 at-bats. Watch out, Eddie Murray. Speaking of record holders, most home runs by a switch hitter in his rookie season is 27. Here comes Tex. He's got 22.
Well, he just went 8 for 12 against Minnesota. Now he's 2 for 2 against Kansas City. This is probably the best streak of 4 games Texas had all season. And he is definitely confident, strong, and taking a home run swing at the plate.
Blaylock, another solid shot. This one will not get out, but again, the cornermen, Teixeira and Blaylock, are swinging the best bats in this game. Rangers 3, Royals nothing. Three home runs in the last 4 at-bats for Mark Teixeira after a dismal slump over the last few weeks. What a pretty swing, huh?
Well, he is right on everything right now. It's funny, one little thing can happen. You get a base hit, something clicks in batting practice, and bang, you're off to the races. You go a couple of weeks and just feel like you can't buy a hit. Every ball you hit hard is caught. You don't feel comfortable at the plate. You wonder when it's going to end, and all of a sudden you're 10 for 14 with 3 home runs and right back on top of the world again.
That is the correct locale for Mark Teixeira right now. There's another ground ball. Another put out for Teixeira.
And look at Kobe Lewis. I mean, Kobe Lewis's last game was 1 1/3 and 7 earned runs.
Talking about Teixeira's turnaround as he's up to 22 home runs now. The Corona beer miles away from ordinary factoid. We talked about this yesterday. Carlos Beltran is on that list. 22 in his rookie year. He was rookie of the year in '99. And Mark Teixeira, you know, there was a groundswell right around the All-Star break that, hey, maybe Mark Teixeira should get some support for rookie of the year. But because of the slump that encompassed, you know, about 4 weeks or so, maybe 5, he kind of dropped off the radar. A big push in September. Maybe he is right back on the radar.
If he hits 30 home runs, he'll be right back on the radar. Matsui kind of built an early lead, and he's still hanging in there. He's got 92 RBIs. But there's a lot of other guys you have to give consideration to. You don't see Burrowa's name mentioned very much. I think he should be mentioned a little more prominently, other than just in Kansas City.
Another ground ball. A-Rod can't get it. Base hit for Ibanez. With 1 out here in the 5th. We go to Jim Knox with a special guest.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Maybe the hot streak of Mark Teixeira is because his family's in town. His father, Tex Teixeira, here. Are you surprised on how well Mark is hitting the ball? Is it because the good family's in town?
Well, I think it's the family. It's his Uncle Pete. You know, his Uncle Pete lives in Orlando. Went over and saw him play in Tampa. First at bat, hit a home run. Yesterday he came to the game, he hit a home run. Today he's here again, so we don't think we're going to let him go home. We're going to make him stay.
You got to stay. Now, seriously, 22 home runs right now.
Ken Harvey. I'm sorry, Jim. Ken Harvey's just hit one himself. Man, did he hit one.
That's up in Teixeira territory.
That's headline news right there. Put it right off the Sports Day ad. And just like that, the Royals back in the game on a Ken Harvey blast. Mark Teixeira-esque, you're right. Sorry to rudely interrupt you there, Jim.
Oh, that's quite all right, Josh. Let's get back to the good news. That's Mark Teixeira's 2 home runs today. Already 22 home runs on the season. How surprised are you that he has really developed this quick in the majors?
Well, I think the power's a little bit surprising. I think that you know, Mark's biggest adjustment has been seeing new pitchers. So he's now starting to get his second time through the lineup. You know, he's seen May before. He's more comfortable from that very first at bat, and as a result of that, I think that, you know, it's starting to show. That the biggest part has been the ups and downs of the season. It's a long season for him. He's never played this much baseball, so it's really been good to watch him. I think he's starting to get more comfortable with it and gut it out for the rest of the way.
And growing up in Maryland, his 2 sports were actually baseball, soccer, and basketball. 3 sports. In soccer, though, he had a big-time intensity level, I understand.
He was a little more aggressive in soccer than you were supposed to be, so he spent a lot of time on the sidelines with yellow cards and red cards. But he used to say, hey, it's not me. They just bounce into me and bounce off. It's not my fault. But he had some hard times with that.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of the game, and why don't you hang around the next 2 days, huh?
Yeah, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
All right, John.
We need Uncle Pete. We need Uncle Pete to travel. Thanks, Jim. That's great to see. John Teixeira, the original Tex Teixeira. He played baseball for the Naval Academy. Was a 4-year starter for the midshipmen. The middies used to play annual exhibition games against the Orioles and the Red Sox. John Teixeira once got a hit against Doyle Alexander in one of those games. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
As for Uncle Pete, he played a bit in the Braves organization after an All-American college career at the University of Florida. There's a Ken Harvey home run tag.
Boy, hit an inside fastball. Not a bad pitch. Right in on the corner. But Harvey, with a quick stroke, turns on it and hits it off the facing behind the seats in left field. We see some long home runs to left field. A couple by Tex, that one by Harvey today. Harvey playing today because Rondell White, nursing a little bit of an injury, can't play. So Ibanez has moved to left field. And Harvey's getting the start at first base and obviously taking advantage of it.
405-foot home run, we are told. Texas was, what, 402? chases. I like Teixeira over Baroa today in the balloting for Rookie of the Year. 3-2, middle of the 5th at the ballpark in Arlington.
These everyday low fares to your favorite vacation destinations start at just $49.
You are now free to move about the country.
Give your engine what it wants. Pennzoil with time release protection helps keep engines running stronger, longer. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Look for great savings on Pennzoil at AutoZone.
I've made a lot of news on the baseball diamonds, but if you want to find out about this diamond, you've got to go talk to your doctor.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? See your doctor and find out if a free sample is right for you.
My doctor says it's right for me. That's why I stay with it. For more information, go to Viagra.com.
This Friday, one man must stand between the living and the dead.
I order you back to hell!
Heath Ledger.
It's you and me.
Bless my heart. Hope to die.
The Order. Rated R. Friday. Only in theaters.
Rangers lead the Royals 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning at the ballpark in Arlington. Here comes the Duck. It's the Aflac Trivia answer. Last time the Rangers beat the Royals back in June of '02. Wow. Chan-Ho Park the win. Hideki Arabu the save. In the Where Are They Now department. Marcus Thames hits the first pitch at the bottom of the 5th over to Randa, 1 down. Todd Green coming up next. All the runs in this game have scored on the long ball. What new? 2 Mark Teixeira home runs, 1 Hank Blaylock home run for the Rangers total of 3 today. And the Royals have a 2-run shot from the first baseman Ken Harvey. Mark Teixeira and Hank Blaylock both born in 1980. 22 and 23 years old now, respectively. 2 of the youngest Rangers all year. All the 52 players that have been through here, Tom, none of them have been younger than Blaylock, Nix, and Teixeira. The 1980 gang.
It just speaks well for the future. As well as they're playing right now, they're going to get even better as time goes on.
1980, kind of a forgettable year for the Rangers, although Rusty Staub made his appearance that year, Le Grand Orange. That was a year, one of my favorite quotes of all time, Tom. Sparky Lyle to Jim Kern in 1980. Said, I've seen guys pitch bad, I've seen guys pitch in bad luck, but you've done an outstanding job of putting it all together. Sparky Lyle to the E-move in 1980. It's the year that Eddie Childs came on the scene.
There weren't many hitters that like to face Emu, I'll tell you that. He was throwing 100 miles an hour and wasn't exactly sure where it was going either. Had that big beard out in the mound, looked a little crazy.
Looked like he had just...
Only because he was a little bit crazy.
I always thought it looked like he had just washed ashore.
Looked like Tom Hanks.
Right. Show up with a FedEx package. Hey, how you doing? Pop-up from Todd Green. Red Main sheds the mask. He will make the catch. What did Eddie Childs used to say? I'm Eddie Childs and I'm mad, right?
Eddie Childs and I'm mad as...
Yes. Hey, you know, the Southwest Sports Report, 30 minutes of nightly sports news dedicated to teams throughout the Southwest. TCU getting going Back to big-time college football recap and roundup. Getting ready for the Cowboys, too, tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, 10 o'clock.
And the other guy helping out with the commercial would go, "What are you mad at, Eddie Childs?" And Eddie, of course, was running the Western Company of North America, oil exploration company, and he would rail against big government, big business, regulations. People loved it.
If you don't own an oil well, get one, right?
Well, if the oil business hadn't gone south during that time, boy, there's no telling what kind of an owner Eddie would have been. He didn't have a lot of money because the oil business was doing poorly. The team was playing poorly. But he didn't shy away from any kind of a decision. If it cost money, he'd figure out a way to get it somehow. But if the oil business was continuing to boom during the time that he owned the team, it would have been George Steinbrenner of the West.
Mike Young down on strikes. It is still 3-2. We're off to the 6th after this. 3-2 Texas as we get to the 6th. And folks, the Rangers are sponsoring a duathlon for kids aged 4 to 13. The event coming up September the 28th. Right here at the ballpark. For more information, just go to TexasRangers.com. Biking and running. You get a medal, a t-shirt, and a goodie bag if you get through it. Not a great day to be running around today. Very soggy afternoon here in Arlington, but a very happy Labor Day to one and all. Little day off from work never hurt anybody. Mark Teixeira slides, knocks it down, has to go to Lewis. Right on the bag, nice play. Tex unable to get to the bag himself, and that probably blows up the chance to tie Mattingly for the most putouts in one game by a first baseman, but they get the first out of the inning.
It looked like a slider from Kobe Lewis that was hit hard by Maine, and a nice play by Tex down the line, and then a nice throw. Stayed with it, stayed calm, and Kobe got over there to make sure he was on the bag for the throw. And the Rangers get the leadoff hitter in the 6th as Kobe continues to fire strikes. No walks, 2 strikeouts in the ball game.
Colby's already thrown 12 more pitches, Tom, than he threw that entire effort against the Royals last time. Giving up 7 earned runs in an inning and 2/3.
Well, he's now faced everybody in the lineup twice through almost 6 innings.
Great play, Mike Young. Lewis unable to grab it. In fact, he took a Chevy Chase style pratfall, but then Mike Young bailed him out with a terrific play.
Well, in Kobe's last game, I think the last pitch he threw was a ball hit right in that same area by Mike Sweeney. That
right.
he couldn't get to it, looked the same way going after it. Only that time it was a base hit. Ball wasn't hit as high as that by Sweeney. This time Michael Young's able to make the play. Nice play.
Bare hand, one motion. That's awesome.
We've seen some nice plays defensively on a day where it's not easy to play defense with the rain.
Nextel, you make the call. The Rangers got the out in a very close play. You know, Mike Young hitless now over his last 12 at bats, but you don't even notice because he keeps making those kinds of plays at second base. And if you took an overall impression of, hey, how's Mike Young doing? I think what you remember is the defense right now. And you say Mike Young's doing swell. Well, maybe not swell.
No, I wouldn't use that word, but I know what you mean. I would probably say swimmingly.
Swimmingly. Neato.
Well, the other part of it is, you know, Michael's been a little bit, has cooled off a little bit with the bat. But chances are the same thing's going to happen that's happening with Tex right now. You go through a period where you struggle. Sometimes it's 5 days, sometimes it's a month. But if you can hit, eventually you'll start to hit again. And the good part for Michael is there's another month left in the season, and he will start to hit again.
Christensen, long run, over the shoulder, makes the catch. It is all good in Arlington in the rain, and a 3-2 lead for the Rangers. Sonic Slam Inning brought to you by Sonic. The jackpot is up to $1,000 for today, plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for two at Sonic. Rangers hitting for Ann Bounds from North Richland Hills. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, we give away very happily $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. Ryan Christensen leads off the inning. Just moments after he made a dazzling running catch in the alley in right center to rob Joe Randa. Ramon Navarre probably would have gotten to that ball too, probably would have plowed right through the wall, however. Ramon now down at Frisco, one of the many roster moves the Rangers have made now that we are into September. Navarre joining a playoff-bound Frisco team. We wish Tim Ireland and his group the best. Oklahoma, Tom, is the one Rangers affiliate that will not go to the playoffs. They'll finish right around 500. They've got their finale today. But everybody else, a winning record and a trip to the playoffs. That Spokane team is one that we'll track from out of the Northwest League, made up of the kids just drafted this past June. Christensen down on strikes. A-Rod coming up, and folks, the NFL returns to Fox this week. Doubleheader action, including the Cowboys opener against the Michael Vickless Atlanta Falcons. Check your local listings or go to foxsports.com for the games and times in your area. You know, if Oklahoma wins its finale today, Tom, they will finish right at 500, 71-71. And what a feather in the cap that would be for John Hart, Grady Fuson, all the way down the line, to say that none of the teams in the minor league system will finish with a losing record.
It's pretty unusual, I'll say that.
I mean, I've heard of going 5 for 6, as the Twins seem to do every year in their minor league system lately, but I don't know if I've heard of 6 out of 6.
Well, the other feather in the cap would go to Bobby Jones and his staff too, for being able to juggle so many different lineups. And it's so hard for a minor league manager. Usually happens at the AAA level a little bit more than the other levels. But you can lose a pitcher 15 minutes before the game. Right. For instance, let's say the Rangers have some question as to a guy's going to be able to start a day from now, and it comes up in practice before the game, and it's a half an hour before the AAA game. They call down to Bobby Jones and they say, hey, don't start such and such tonight. He might have to pitch for us tomorrow. Well, they have the same planning process at AAA that you have at the big league level. That guy's supposed to pitch tonight. They don't have another guy ready to start that night. So they hold their pitcher out and they try to piece together that game the best they can. They might start the next night's starter. They might just use the bullpen. They have to mix and match, and that goes on all season long. So to end up 500 under those circumstances, I think, is a feather in everybody's cap.
You saw Bob Missick sitting there in the dugout. He's the Rangers director of player development and used to manage in the Orioles system. I once saw Bob Missick have to use a pitcher as a DH in a game because of exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and sometimes they even have to go into the field and play somewhere.
Long drive, but foul by Alex Rodriguez. And Tom, on this subject, Bank of America higher standards. Already 4 of the teams have qualified for the playoffs. Spokane will get in unless something absolutely cataclysmic happens. They've got to lose for it. Tri-City has got to win for it. Rangers have never had 5 minor league teams get in the playoffs in the same season. It's going to happen. Coaxes another walk. He has been on base 8 of his last 9 trips to the plate. Rafael Palmeiro will swing the bat. The man who's got the most home runs ever against his Kansas City Royals franchise. He has hit 38. ball, no strikes to count. You've got Spencer on deck, another home run threat. But it's been the young guys today that have been swatting the home runs. Teixeira and Blaylock for the Rangers. Second-year player Ken Harvey for Kansas City. I'm putting in the call. 2-0. Rafi's been killing lefties this year, averaging a home run every 8 at-bats.
Good spot for it.
Ground ball instead. It pinballs. Ends up in shallow right. Rafi is safe, 2 on.
Well, had a lot of chances to make that play. First one was Harvey's. Second one was Relaford, and then Relaford had the third chance, but couldn't get it there quick enough to get Rafi. If Relaford was able to get the carom off of Harvey, he would have been able to make a play, but he couldn't make the carom. It puts 2 men on with 1 out. If he can catch it right there, he'll make the play, but once he missed it, couldn't get it there in time, although he made a nice try.
The wheels. Get down the line, Rafi. I'm assuming that's going to be scored an infield hit. Do not have word on that yet. Oh, I spoke too soon. Error on Ken Harvey. That's what happens when you assume. Rafi's batting average goes down then with an 0 for 3 day officially. Here is Spencer, who had some just surreal minor league seasons coming up in the Yankees organization. He had a record for most home runs at Double-A Norwich, which stood for, I think, 3 years before Marcus Thames broke Shane Spencer's record. So the all-time home run hitters in Norwich Navigator history. Entirely separate organization from the Rangers. They reside with the Rangers now. Spencer, who had a 36 homer season in Norwich. Marcus Thames beat him with 39. Pop-up. Infield fly rule in effect. 2 down in the inning. Jason Grimsley getting up in the bullpen. Do they want to go get him now that Darrell May's arch nemesis is stepping to the plate? Mark Teixeira. Home run number 21 this year. Right there. Next time up, home run number 22 this year. Right there.
Inside fastball and looked like a high inside slider. And now a changeup.
Yep, not a bad idea from Darrell May. As you saw with Jim Knox interviewing Mark's dad, Mark's family's in town, including Uncle Pete. That seems to be the key, having Uncle Pete for all the big home runs.
Tex was 0 for 3 against Darrell May the last game when May threw the shutout, including a strikeout to end the game. So he has learned from that experience, to say the least, and may have seen a little bit better pitch to hit today than he saw in Kansas City. Who knows? That might have something to do with it.
Come on, Tex, do it for Uncle Pete. 1 and 2 the count.
Hey, Pete's already got 2 on the books today.
72 total home runs on the bases here. Alex Rodriguez and Rafael Palmeiro. Darrell May brings it. Wise to stay away. 2 and 2. Boy, Tex was 8 for 13 in that Minnesota series. 2 for 2 jacks in this one. So this is a nice little homestand for Tex. Quick throw towards first base. Rafael Palmeiro in awkwardly, but he is in. As the count runs to 3-2 on Teixeira. Runners will be in motion now with 2 down. Late season Rookie of the Year charge being put together by Tex. Hammers it. Off the top of the wall. He narrowly missed his 3rd home run of the day. 1 run in. Palmeiro blocked at the plate and he's out. What a job by Brent Maine to seal it off. Boy, Mark Teixeira.
It looked like it hit the 390 marker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it went right to the corner, right to the northeast corner of the southwest sign. And he missed it by this much. Wow. 4-2 Texas. Hard to find fault with anything Mark Teixeira has done today. But all we can say, Texas, don't be afraid to hit it about 5 feet to the right of the Southwest Airlines sign next time. That would have been for just the 3rd time in Ranger history. Somebody hitting 3 home runs in 3 consecutive at-bats in one game. Because he nailed the numbers on that sign.
He also lost an RBI because of a great relay series of throws by the Royals. Baroa just made a beautiful throw home. Then Maine blocked the plate. Otherwise, he would have at least had another RBI.
Sweeney lofting one towards the right field corner. Marcus Thames has it for the first out. Mark Teixeira, full extension. Very pretty swing, and this was very well played in by Ibanez.
Beautiful play by Baroa. I mean, Baroa had to catch the short hop, turn and throw, and he throws a strike like he's pitching practically. And then a beautiful block of the plate by Maine, gets his left foot out in front of the plate. And Rafi tried to slide underneath him, but slid right into his foot. Nope. Not much you can do about that when the plate's being blocked. That's a great play by Baroa.
And by Brent Maine, you're right, he just closed in. Rafi found himself in his own personal Indiana Jones movie. Couldn't get in and under. Beltran rips one foul, 2-1. The only Rangers, Tom, to homer in 3 straight at-bats in one game. Al Oliver did it in 1980. The year Mark Teixeira was born. And Larry Parrish did it in 1985. Mark Teixeira almost did it here in 2003 today.
Well, Kobe Lewis still throwing 93 miles an hour, and he's still pumping strikes in there, one right after the other, too.
It's a high pop foul by Beltran. Folks, we invite you to visit any DFW Starbucks. Get a coupon for $10 off on select lower and club level seats. For more info, just go to TexasRangers.com. Whoops. 3-2 the count to Beltran. We showed you the stat earlier in the game. Not too many rookie switch hitters with 20 or more home runs in that rookie season. Beltran is on the list, and so now is Mark Teixeira. Beltran to Teixeira. Thanks, guys, for playing along. What a turnaround for Colby Lewis. And the thing that I find impressive today, Tom, he gave up that long home run to Ken Harvey. And did his back buckle at all? No. He has come back with 7 consecutive outs from there.
Very impressive. I mean, figure he only faced 16 hitters in 2. Well, that's a lot of hitters in 2 innings in his last start. And here he is, 2 outs into the 7th inning, cruising along, pitching a great ball game. It's not a surprise. I mean, when you watch Kobe's stuff, I mean, it's not a surprise that he can go out and pitch a game like this. It's just a matter of the on-the-job training and a young pitcher, a hard-throwing young pitcher without a whole lot of minor league experience, just trying to get comfortable so he can be more consistent at the major league level.
I don't know, fans grow tired of seeing other pitchers, former Ranger pitchers, bloom somewhere else. You look at what Doug Davis is doing for Milwaukee right now, and I know it's early in his Brewers career, but 4 starts and an ERA of 0.9. That's why nobody wants to give up on Colby Lewis. As you say, he's got a great arm. But the bottom line is he came into this game with an ERA of 8.14, and that's not exactly a small sample either. You're talking about 100 innings.
Nope. The stats don't lie, but they don't always tell the whole story.
Michael Young will smother it. What a play by the second baseman. Boy, sometimes it just all comes together. Ranger youth on display. On a rainy Labor Day here in North Texas, your Gatorade game summary. The Ranger youngsters have really been hammering the ball today. Mark Teixeira, 2 home runs, almost a third. Hank Blaylock hit one out. Colby Lewis, another of the Ranger youngsters, sailing along with a 3-hitter right now. Ken Harvey, one of the young players for Kansas City, a 2-run homer. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Jason Grimsley takes over on the mound. A new pitcher for the Royals is Darrell May. A little different outing than what he had last time. Last time it was a complete game, a 5-hit shutout. And this time 6 innings of work, 4 hits, 4 runs.
Jason Grimsley will be in his 70th ball game. Guy with a good solid sinker, occasionally a fastball in the mid-90s. Sometimes that sinker gets hit into right field.
By Hank Blaylock, who's tearing towards second base. You betcha. Home run, deep line drive out, and a double for Blaylock today.
The Rangers haven't had a single yet. They've had 5 hits. Tex has 2 home runs and a double. Blaylock has a home run and a double. That's all 5 hits to the 6th and 7th hitters. Boy, they've had some good swings today between the 2 of them. Man. You throw it up there, they're going to hit it hard.
The stars of the game have been 22 through 24 years old for the Rangers today. Blaylock, Teixeira, and Colby Lewis. Be nice to put some distance between the Rangers and the Royals here, bottom of the 7th inning. Rangers trying to break that 9-game losing streak to Kansas City. We mentioned this year they had been outscored, what, 53-14.
This is the first time they've scored more than 3 runs in a game, or second time in 7 games.
Thames takes a strike. Well, the White Sox have to have their feet up on the furniture smoking a cigar right about now, Tom. They're not playing. The Twins are losing, and the Royals are losing. That bodes well for Chicago, trying to build a 2-game lead in the Central. Some other scores, by the way. It is 5-2 Anaheim over Minnesota. That game in the 9th inning now. Makeup game in Philadelphia. I guess one of the last interleague games of the season. The Red Sox and the Phillies. Phillies lead at 6-5 in the 7th. Jimmy Rollins a home run. First of 2 in Detroit. Only because they have to. Cleveland 7, Tigers 4 in the 9th inning. On appeal, no swing. Boy, imagine imagine the Tigers losing a doubleheader today. That ends up happening. They would go to 16-52 at home. They'd be 34-103 for the year and closing in hard on those 62 Mets.
Boy. I hate to see it happen to a storied franchise like the Tigers, but they're on their way.
If they lose that first game, Tom, they would be 27 games out of fourth place in the Central. They would be 37.5 games out of third.
It would be 19 games behind Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is 53-82.
Man.
Put it all in perspective. Man.
Yep, 62-75 doesn't sound that bad by comparison, does it? Thames takes inside. The Yankees lost to Toronto, Tom, 8-1. David Wells, who has been, just for a change, a little controversial over the last week or so, he lost to Roy Halladay. Halladay wins his 18th. On the ground foul. David Wells recently was criticized by some of the coaching staff for not throwing in the bullpen in between starts. And David Wells kind of came back with his own commentary on that, basically saying, check my record, leave me alone. And then he goes out and gets clobbered by the Blue Jays today.
Yeah, you can't deny that David Wells has been an excellent pitcher. But the other way to look at it is, how much better could he be if he was ever in shape?
Yeah.
The guy's been out of shape his whole career, and he can come back with, well, look what my career has been. And that's a good comeback, but I think the comeback to that is, look how good it could have been. Maybe you'd never spend time on the disabled list. Maybe you'd be that much better. He may come back and say, well, maybe I'd be worse. Who knows? But I think when Mel Stottlemyre and Joe Torre criticize you, you better take note of it.
Native Texan Jason Grimsley having to face Todd Green now. Like that soul patch that Todd is sporting, that little goatee type thing.
Let's check it out. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Todd says, as long as I'm hitting, the soul patch stays. And if you're rooting for the soul patch, you got to be rooting for Todd Green to get a hit, because he's 0 for 2 today. Asked Todd, well, what does your wife think about that? He says, don't take this the wrong way, but as long as I'm hitting well, her opinion doesn't matter. I'm keeping it. Got the batting average up into the 220s.
Would you tell him you wouldn't take it the wrong way, but maybe his wife would?
It all depends on who the recipient of that sentence is, I suppose. Nine home runs for Todd this year, only 18 runs batted in. Still holding steady at just 1 walk all season. Got that back in April. Oof. Oh, he has been hit by 2 pitches this year, almost a third right there. But as we've discussed, it takes some effort, some superhuman effort to walk Todd Green, because he is up there swinging the bat. Look out, he's decked again.
Watch out, man. Well, he's not trying to hit him here. No outs, 2 men on in a 2-run game. That's not a concern. Getting out of the way is a concern, though. We will get a visit from John Cumberland, it looks like. Bullpen's getting ready again for Kansas City.
Cumberland goes out there and says to Grimsley, that if you watch Fox Sports Net, you will see 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the only show taking you inside the world of extreme sports every weeknight, with Leanne Tweeden and the entire group of experts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, weeknights at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, only on Fox Sports Net. Scoreboard calls for noise. The fans oblige. It's a walk. It's the first for Green since April 13. Hallelujah.
Well, he almost hit him twice. Right. Tough to swing at those pitches.
164 trips to the plate in between walks for Greeny. And they're loaded up for Michael Young, who could use a little bit of help here. Trying to bust out of a slump, and bases loaded, and that makes sure that something's going to be around the plate, you figure. Well, you figure, but Grimsley can't throw a strike. It's 1-0.
I think one of the amazing things about this game is how well both teams have played defensively. There have been some great plays by the outfielders, great throws, plays, charging balls by the infielders. Under the conditions, it's been pretty nice. The other side of it is Tom Burns and his ground crew have done a great job making the field so playable.
They really have. The tarp was on until about, 20 minutes before the game. Infield in a halfway in a 4-2 game. Bases loaded, nobody out. The double by Blaylock. A couple of walks have followed, and it's not as easy to say, boy, how can you walk the 8 and 9 hitters, because the at-bat by Marcus Thames was terrific. He was down 1-2, and he came back to get the walk.
Grimsley's struggling right now. It's all over the place. He almost hit Todd twice. That 2-1 pitch with the bases loaded is about a foot outside. And he doesn't have many more pitches left before Tony Pena walks the line.
Again, Mike Young trying to chisel his way out of a slump. Finds himself looking at 3-2.
That might have been ball 4.
But you don't necessarily blame Mike Young for trying to make something positive happen stuck in this slump.
No, for hitters now, that high pitch is called a strike more often than it used to be, so you have to be careful about taking strike 3 too.
We've talked about Mike's ability to get 2-strike hits all season. It'd be a great time to get one more. We will see a 9th pitch of the at-bat. Kind of reminds you of the Einar Diaz at-bat to end the game yesterday in the rain. A 12-pitch epic from Einar yesterday. He finally fired one off the wall. The Rangers had the walk-off win. Mashed into center field. Grabbed out there by Beltran. Good enough for a run batted in. It's 5-2.
Well, that's battling him up there. Michael fouled off several high fastballs, got one that he could handle, and just hit a rope to center field and got the run in. Good at bat.
Every little bit helps. You get a 5-2 lead. Christensen the batter, and A-Rod moves on deck. If you saw that graphic, the .246 batting average for Mike Young with 2 strikes on him, I know that probably might not look like much, but consider what the average 2-strike batting average is. It's about 185. So for Young to be at .246, that is not bad at all. Forget sometimes what an advantage it is for a pitcher to have 2 strikes on a batter.
There's a high strike. That used to be called a ball most of the time.
2 on Christensen now. Tony Pena out of the dugout to make the play. That's a pretty active manager over there. He starts out on that top step, but he came up onto the dirt, went about 5 steps over to make the play. Got him. Jason Grimsley gets that second. Two strikes or 3 strikes?
Well, I thought it was 3 strikes. Ryan thought it was 2 strikes. He must not have known that high pitch was called a strike, maybe.
Yeah, it's the only thing that I'm thinking, too, because we're looking at our scoreboard, looking at the Fox box. I'm looking at my scorebook. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm hoping that Ryan is right, but didn't think so. Alex Rodriguez will come to the plate with 2 on. Grimsley is not going to face him. We'll tell you about the new Kansas City pitcher momentarily. Let's see if A-Rod can break it open when we return. Some terrific at-bats in this inning for the Rangers as they move the lead to 5-2. Bank of America higher standards. How about this epic yesterday? Einar Diaz, as the rain was coming down and down and down. Einar hit foul ball after foul ball after foul ball. And finally, with the game on the line, tied 10-10, he would win it against Eddie Guardado. Eventually, it's coming. Wait on it. Right now.
You had the feeling, pretty comfortable feeling in that at bat. If Guardado threw him something anywhere close to being a good pitch to hit, he was going to win the ball game. The pitches he was fouling off were borderline pitches, tough pitches to hit. All it took was one near the good part of the strike zone.
A-Rod against Nate Field, a little bloop shot, perfect into right field to get another run in for Texas. Following the Christensen strikeout, Alex Rodriguez not messing around. RBI number 101 to pad the lead.
Just dropped it in front of Gao. Thought Gao might dive for that ball to see if he could come up with it, but he played it in front of him. Must have thought he couldn't get to it. But Alex will take it. Good pitch, low and away, hit it right off the end of the bat. And just blooped it over second in front of the right fielder.
The Royals were looking to run the table on the Rangers this year. They had won the first 6 games. They are down to 6 outs left in this one, and the Rangers up 6-2 as you look at the numbers for Nate Fielding.
That's the 4th time he's been with Kansas City, and the reason they called him up, I think, was to make him eligible for postseason play if the Royals are fortunate enough to get to postseason play. Throwing a little bit harder this time around, evidently, than he was the last time he was here.
Where would you rather play, Nate Field or Chanahoe Park?
Well, they're both good places to play. I wouldn't know which one to pick.
The shift is on for Rafi. He takes down too low, 2-1. When last we saw Rafi, he was barreling into the catcher Brent Maine, trying to slide it safely across on a base hit, but Brent Maine was able to seal off home plate and actually end that inning. Boy, I wish I had saved my call. 3-1 the count from Field to Palmeiro. 2 on, 2 out.
You want a mulligan?
Golf course, yes, but then, you know, we got hard, firm rules for the ball game here.
Well, we can tend to switch them every now and then.
Outside. Rafael Palmeiro walks to bring up Shane Spencer with the bases loaded. Three hits in the game yesterday, Tom. Only 9 in the game today. But 8 runs in this game. 6 runs on 6 hits for Texas. 2 runs on just 3 for Kansas City against Colby Lewis. Long inning for Kansas City. A 36-pitch inning now. Green with a walk. His first since April. A-Rod, the blue, hit for an RBI. Rafael Palmeiro, another walk. Should be another 100-walk season for Rafi before it's done. Spencer will have to rally. It's 0-2. Pretty odd way to set yourself there, huh? You're Nate Fields. With the feet splayed out like that.
Let's make sure he's got kind of like the Tony Batista pitching stance. Get a good look at that sign.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Mark Teixeira would be next. He's already got 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in today. Rangers leading 6-2. A collective gasp from the crowd. It was close. It is 3-2. The runners will be in motion. I'm sure the fans would love to see Teixeira up there again, too. Kansas City has to be glad that Minnesota's losing. Kenny Rogers getting beaten up by Anaheim today. The White Sox are idle. Down the stretch we come. So many great races going on. Kansas City in the middle of one of them. Too high, ball 4, 7-2. And Teixeira coming up.
Field gave up the bloop single to Alex and then 2 walks. He had Spencer 0-2.
Mark Teixeira will attempt to become just the 7th Ranger to have a 3-home run game. Trying to get it done from the right side and the left side in this game. Yet another visit from John Cumberland. Willie Horton, Al Oliver, Larry Parrish, Juan Gonzalez, Jose Canseco, Pudge Rodriguez, Alex Rodriguez. Hitting 3 home runs in 1 game for the Rangers. Mark Teixeira trying to grab life by the horns.
I wouldn't say for thrills, but I love hunting. In the off season, I love to hunt, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. Relax, watch TV, watch movies, just kind of chill out.
Brought to you by Dodge, where we grab life by the horns every day. Might have to add to the list of how Mark Teixeira gets his thrills. I hit 3 home runs in 1 game against Kansas City. Looking for his 2nd grand slam as a major leaguer. Check swing foul into the crowd. The grand slam was in a day game right here at the ballpark in Arlington. It was against Toronto. Not this time. Mark Teixeira down on strikes, but 3 runs in the inning. 7-2 Texas. Gets a warm ovation, as he should. After getting ripped apart by the Royals last time, he held them in check today. 7-3 game. We'll tell you about the new pitcher after this.
Mike Sweeney and the Royals are in a battle for the AL Central crown as they take on A-Rod and the Rangers. Wednesday at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net. Nissan Southwest Football Saturday breaks down the day in college football with scores and highlights. While the Big 12 postgame show recaps all the weekend's games with interviews and exclusive coverage.
He does! He did!
Nissan Southwest Football Saturday and the Big 12 postgame show on Fox Sports Net.
The Cobra, Colby Lewis, giving up a pair of home runs to Kenna Harvey, the most recent of which barely got out of here. It was like a field goal hitting the goalpost and then bouncing over for the 3 points. Watch it hit right on the yellow. And then way back in the crowd to make it a 7-3 game.
A pretty strong guy to hit one that far to right field on a look like an inside fastball, just inside out at it. 380 feet to right field.
Brian Schaus slings one down too low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Desi Relaford. Brian Schaus, who pitched briefly with the Royals last year, pitches against them here, gets a comebacker.
That's one of those balls, if you don't field your position or if you're out of position to field it as a pitcher, goes right up the middle for a base hit. As it is, you just kind of take it for granted that it was an out. Brian's outstanding numbers on the season.
1 home run in 55+ innings of work, and
pretty good.
We keep reminding people that was kind of a dubious home run anyway. Little opposite field shot in Puerto Rico by Brad Wilkerson that barely got out. In a ballpark with teeny tiny dimensions, so you almost put an asterisk by that 1.
We've almost got the sun coming out. The rain has definitely stopped and it's brightening up.
In more ways than one. 7-3 Rangers now. Angel Barroa has been held down today, 0 for 2, and he is looking at no balls, 2 strikes here.
He's seen a steady dose of slow pitches.
Golfing this one towards left. 2 down in the inning. If you look at the Ford leaderboard, there are some hitters, starting with Angel Barroa, who just wear this ball club out. Beltran over the last 2 years has been closer to 500. That helps to explain why the Royals before today had been 13-2 in their last 15 games against this Texas ball club. Looks like we'll get a pinch hitter here now. Mike DeFelice instead of Brent Main, righty instead of a lefty. DeFelice taking a sweet time getting up there. That allows us one more chance to look at the scoreboard, Tom. Boston and Philadelphia keep yo-yoing back and forth in this one. And as of this moment, it's the Red Sox 7, the Phillies 6 in the 8th inning. Makeup game from intra-league play.
Yeah, Boston needs that one. They've fallen behind Seattle in the wild card race by a game and a half.
And the Phillies, fresh off that sweep of the Mets, in pretty good shape right now. Tied with the Marlins in that wild card race. DeFelice off the bench, base hit into center. That National League wild card race is starting to unclog a little bit. Remember a couple days ago you had 7 teams within a game and a half of each other. It's now those 7 teams within 3.5 of each other. Marlins on top along with the Phillies, although they've lost Mike Lowell, but they have acquired Jeff Conine. One of the other deadline deals of note, Jesse Orozco going to the Twins. Jesse Orozco in his
he
quest.
Keeps finding teams, I'll say that.
It's amazing, isn't it? No longer a joke about pitching until he's 50. He just might do that. And the Phillies picked up Kelly Stinnett, another catcher they can throw into the mix. Guy that used to play for Buck Showalter at Arizona.
Yeah, the Phillies let Tyler Houston go. I was listening to one of the sports shows today. I heard Bobby Valentine say the Phillies let Tyler Houston go, and it's a good thing they did. He's a big mouth and a troublemaker. Wow. So I guess that's pretty much says it all, at least in Bobby's opinion.
Tyler Houston and Larry Boa, it was kind of a toxic mix. A couple guys that'll speak their mind. Here comes Buck with two righties due up. Jay Powell is going to be summoned. You don't want to see this one get away. It's 7-3. 2 on, 2 out. Joe Randa, one of the hottest hitters out there, 14-game hitting streak. And Jay Powell will be asked to come on and shut him down. 7-3 our score. Back in a moment on Fox Sports Net. Rangers up 7-3. Let's check the Pennzoil protection play. A lot of candidates. A very well played defensive game, but hard to say no to what Michael Young has done this afternoon. Not just oil, Pennzoil. There's one. How about that one? Finding a way to contribute. Mike does not have a hit over the last 3 games, but he keeps on taking base hits away from other players.
And a big RBI with a sacrifice fly today. Making those plays on a wet turf. Pretty nice plays. It's dried out nicely now, though. The rain stopped a couple innings ago. Conditions are actually pretty good right now.
Jay Powell in to face Joe Randa with 2 on, 2 out.
Yeah, it's a dangerous guy. Rangers have found that out before. He's swinging the bat well right now. Randa hit .381 in August.
He's hitting .333 in September.
That's pretty good too. Hopefully it ends up to be .250 in September right here.
What a slump that would be. Powell hops ahead of him 0-2. Sweeney on deck. The Rangers batted around last inning. Probably a good thing they did. Grew the lead from 4-2 to 7-2. Now it's 7-3. And the Royals mounting a threat here. Colby Lewis on line for the win. After he got the stuffing kicked out of him against the Royals last time. What a great effort today. They wheel, they throw, it gets away, but there's Mike Young. He is Johnny on the spot again.
There was some daylight out there at second base. DeFelice at second. Alex had broken behind him. Jay's throw was a little bit deliberate and certainly not accurate to eliminate the opportunity that may or may not have been there.
One, 2. Make it 2 balls, 2 strikes. These Kansas City Royals didn't get in until around 11 o'clock last night. They played one of their 2 scheduled games against the Angels. They waited around for a long time, see if they could get the second one in, but they had to rain it out. The Rangers taking on the Royals again tomorrow night. Don't forget, 7:05 first pitch. That game on KDFI 27. Dollar soft drinks at the ballpark Wednesday night, the 3rd, and the Rangers hit the road for a while. Rutrow, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sweeney on deck.
Yeah, that's a matchup you would rather avoid in a 7-3 ball game. You love to see Sweeney lead off the 9th inning and not hit right now with the bases loaded.
From 0-2 to 3-2, runners go. And they will have to go on back. We'll do it again. Anaheim's lead on Minnesota now 6-2. Garrett Anderson hitting home run number 29. Right here, 7-3. Ground ball right where you wanted to hit. Into the glove of Alex Rodriguez. Got him to end the inning. Tough hitter. But Joe Randa's out of there. It stays 7-3. Played with a home run and a double. Towards center this time, but the first out. By the way, Mike DeFelice stays in the game. He is catching for the Royals. Only 11 hits total in this game. We mentioned yesterday the Rangers had 18. The Twins had 15. Total of 33. So 1/3 as many hits today, but plenty of excitement today. The two first basemen in this game, Teixeira and Harvey, have combined for 4 home runs.
And they're both hitting 6th in the lineup. A lot of similarities today.
These two teams share a spring training complex. The Royal Secretary's name was Lincoln. No, not something else. 2 balls, no strikes, a count to Thames. Marcus, a chopper to the Joker. Joe Randa hustles it across the diamond.
The last time the Rangers saw McDougal, I think it was the last time, that was the night that Alex hit the ball into the Kansas City bullpen to tie the game up. He was in for the save.
Yep, and Alex on what, the second or third pitch you saw, just unloaded.
A bullet to right field. That was after tying the game up with a moonshot over the fountain in left field, back-to-back at-bats.
That was a strange game in the rain, too. Every Ranger game this past week has involved rain except for one. There have been either rain delays or rain during the game. Hard strike, 96 miles an hour to Green. Hopefully some sunny skies tomorrow. A 7:05 first pitch. Hope you're making plans to come on out and join us at the ballpark tomorrow. The Rangers officially still undecided on their starter tomorrow. Ismael Valdez is a possibility if he makes it back from McAllen, Texas. Look at the Ranger bullpen real quick. Congrats again to Ismael Valdez and his wife Corinna. Parents for the first time. Ismael Valdez Jr. born on August the 30th. Welcome back, Daddy. We await our celebratory cigars. Strike 3. Slider from Mike McDougal. Now let's see if the Ranger bullpen can get 3 outs, get the Rangers another win. 7-3 our score. Texas Ranger Baseball on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. More than 2,700 nonstop daily flights to 59 destinations all across the country. And by Jack Daniels. Here we go, 9th inning. Jay Powell Still on the mound, and maybe one of the reasons for that, Tom, just looking at the breakdown, Sweeney against the closer, Francisco Cordero. Sweeney 4 for 7 with 3 doubles against Cordero. Sweeney has never faced Jay Powell. So it is Powell, at least for now, staying on the mound. We got the Rangers out of a potential tough spot in the 8th inning.
They got a tough hitter. Joe Randa's been hot. 2 men on. Big out, because then Sweeney would have come to the plate as the tying run. That was a big out. Good breaking ball from that new arm angle that he's throwing from. Dropping down to a more sidearm delivery. See the C on Sweeney's shirt. That signifies he's the captain of the team.
I thought it was because he was cool.
Yeah, he's the cool captain.
Hot shot, base hit. Boy, Mike Sweeney, I guess it doesn't matter who's out there. He's just swinging a great bat against the Rangers.
He can hit. He's a good hitter, boy.
That C was for clobber.
A sinker away, and he just stayed right in there, trying to hit the ball back up the middle with 2 strikes. And boy, that was a bullet back through the middle.
Now Buck is looking to turn it over. 7-3 game. It's going to be Erasmo Ramirez to face Beltran and then Ibanez anyway. Switch hitter, then a lefty. And we'll see what happens from there. Rangers up by 4. We're back in a moment on Fox Sports Net. Well, the Royals trying to make some noise here in the 9th inning. They've got 1 on, nobody out. And Ranger killer Carlos Beltran will be stepping in against Erasmo Ramirez.
Erasmo, one of 4 left-handers in the bullpen for the Rangers. Doing an outstanding job. I'm sure Beltran will see all his pitches. The sneaky fastball, the crippler, which is his changeup. Gets ahead in the count. No balls and 1 strike. And there's the sneaky fastball.
Yep, to set up the crippler. I would love to see him throw the crippler to the Joker, Joe Randa. Sound like a movie.
Well, hopefully we won't see that today, because it's going to be a long inning.
That's true.
Maybe tomorrow.
Two-strike pitch. Fastball. Well, the Rangers tying a franchise record for most pitchers used already. There's a possibility we might see 1 or 2 more before the season is done. There's
just got a piece of the crippler.
Beltran looked like he was in the Matrix right there. He had to kind of freeze action to get a bat on the ball.
It's one of the slowest changeups that you'll see thrown.
Let's see if he comes back. 1 and 2. Nope. Fastball drilled, but foul. That'll be quite a game to try to name the 27 pitchers used by the Rangers this year. Ramirez, one of the guys you didn't know if you would see it all this year, but he's been great. ERA of 3.4. And he strikes out Carlos Beltran.
They threw him a couple of changeups that set up the fastball. Beltran fouled off a fastball in, but then the one up and away swings through. Big strikeout for Erasmo. A good hitter.
How many of the 27 pitchers do you think you could name just off the top of your head?
Probably 9 or 10. I could probably get the ones that are here right now. And a few others, maybe. I'm sure there's some that I can't even, after you tell me, I won't remember they were here.
Right, well, you'll go, oh, yeah, right.
I forgot about him. That was this year?
Esteban Yan?
That was this year?
That was 03. Todd Van Poppel?
You know, how many are here right now that were on the opening day staff?
That's a good question, too. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, give me the Bs. There are 2 Bs. Here's your trivia question. The 2 guys starting with B.
All right, Benoit.
And Ben S. Alan Bennett.
Oh, boy. He wasn't here long.
All right, give me the 2 Cs.
Cordero. And
I know it's tough. I mean, there's 27 guys to choose from.
Cordero and
Callaway.
Oh, they just told me. I wouldn't have gotten it anyway.
Well, it's just in time that you got it out of your mouth. 4-6-3 double play. Ball game's over. We'll save the D's for tomorrow, I guess. Rangers 7, Royals 3. Erasmo Ramirez strikes out Beltran. Gets Ibanez on a double play ball. The Rangers, after that exciting win in the rain yesterday, get a 7-3 win this afternoon. They got homers from Teixeira and Blaylock. They got strong innings from Colby Lewis. And I think, Tag, if you wanted to take a snapshot of a game where you say, all right, what's in the future? Here's the game to do it. Blaylock, Teixeira, Colby Lewis, Mike Young, all the young guys seem to do something.
Yeah, they did. It was a great day for the Rangers. You come back from a nice win last night, back it up with another one. And Erasmo Ramirez continuing to do his fine thing on the mound. He gets a save in this ball game. It's the double play to end the ball game. Went through two tough hitters, Beltran and Ibanez. It's a great day, great win for the Rangers.
A lot more to do, a lot more to tell you about. We'll try to hear from Mark Teixeira, one of the heroes, when we return. Rangers have beaten the Royals 7-3.